Good morning. My name is Becky and I am a yoga teacher at Shine Yoga and the Kula Center here in the Cincinnati area. And today I have a short practice for you. It's all standing so that you can do it anytime. It's just to kind of get you up and moving if you find that you are sitting a lot more than usual during these stay-at-home orders. In my regular day job, I stand probably 80 or 90% of the day. So this is unusual for me to be seated working at the computer or just sitting and watching TV a lot. So it's good for us to get up and get moving to keep healthy. For our practice today, you will want to have either a block or a box of some sort. A shoe box works well. A couple of gentlemen's ties tied together for a strap if you do not have a regular yoga strap. And then you'll also want to have a chair or be close to a counter or a table, something that you can use for stability during our standing practices. And with that, let's get moving and stand up for yourself. So I'm going to start the practice in a standing position, but before I get moving, I've put 2 blocks here on the floor just so that when I bend forward, I can rest my hands there. We're not trying to do anything excessive. This is going to be a short practice, so we don't want to overdo at any point. First, just come to a standing posture, a mountain pose, if you're familiar with that in yoga, where all our joints are lined up, one on top of the other. So knee over ankle, hip over knee, shoulder over hip, and head in line with the spine. And if you can, go ahead and close your eyes. Breathe in, and as you breathe in, expand up. Create space between all the joints, especially the vertebra of your spine. And as you breathe out, release any tension that your body is holding. When your mind is occupied with concerns or worries, it causes the body to retain tension, and we may not even be aware of it, that mental stress can cause physical harm with our body. So we really need to move and release that tension. So just continue here, hands at the side, at the heart center, anywhere that's comfortable. Just focusing, expanding the spine, standing strong as a mountain, and then letting go of any tension on the exhale. Couple more breaths just like that. Notice if you have any particular aches, or you can feel where the tension is that your body is holding, and try to focus on releasing that through our practice today. First thing we're going to do is one of my favorite poses. We're going to spread our feet a little bit wider than hip distance, and I call it a washing machine. I don't know if it has any official name. Hands down and loose at your sides, and I'm going to release my right heel from the floor and bring my right arm over towards my left hip, and just do that back and forth. Nice and easy breathing. You can make it a little faster. You can take it nice and slow and really let your body get adjusted to a little bit of movement. Even if you're just sitting at your computer and working, just stand up every once in a while and let the blood flow. Get the synovial fluid in your joints warmed up and loosened up. All right. Coming back to center, we're going to do a couple of mini salutations. So standing in your mountain pose to begin, we're going to lift our arms up overhead, bend the knees as we bring our arms down and place them on the floor or to your blocks. I'm going to be using blocks throughout the practice. Bring your hands, your palms to your shins, and extend that spine long and straight, creating that space between the vertebra. Hands back down to the floor of your blocks. Bend the knees and circle. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands back to center. I'll do that from the side. For this one, Hands up and overhead. Bend the knees coming over into your forward fold. No need to send the knees too straight. You can adjust to what feels good in your body. Bring the palms to the shins. Extend the spine. Hands back down to the floor, and then circle sweep arms up overhead. And one last time. Over into your forward fold. I can stretch my knees a little bit straighter when I have my hands on the blocks. So that's a good hamstring stretch there. Depends what your goal is. Bring your hands to your palms, or to your shins, I'm sorry. Hands to the block, bend the knees, coming up and overhead. Hands to heart center. And now we're going to do a couple of arm stretches, shoulder stretches with our strap. So like I said, you could have a long necktie or two neckties tied together would be good. Or if you have a yoga strap. So I'm just going to put my hands on the yoga strap about hip distance apart. And I'm going to take my arms up in front of me, really extend them out, bend forward a little bit, bring the shoulders back into line, lift my arms up over my head. If they don't go all the way up, that's fine. And then we're just going to take them over to one side. Total side stretch, not forward. So if you go to here and that's as far as you can go and stay upright, that's fine. Maybe a little bit more to the side. And be sure to breathe, opening up that space between the ribs. Breathing here. Stand up. And then we'll go over to the other side, total side stretch. Maybe look up towards the ceiling underneath that arm. Coming back up towards the center and lower the arms down. Then we're going to take our strap. I had mine folded in half. And we're going to bring it, our arms wide out to the side. And what we're going to do is bring the strap from the front of our body to the back side of our body. So we're going to do that by lifting our arms forward and really reaching up. The wider your hands are, the easier it'll be to let your shoulders drop back behind you. Try not to bend the elbows as you're going. Widen your hands on the strap. And then really lift that strap up, overhead, and back down in the front. And we'll do that a couple more times. And one last time. Up. Do you see how I'm really reaching up and then down? All right? Nice job, everybody. And this next pose, we're going to do with me facing the fireplace so that you can see what's going on behind my back. It's cow face arms. There's a pose in yoga called cow face pose, but we're just going to do the arm part today. So I'm going to stand. I'm going to take my strap in my hand and raise my right arm straight overhead. Then I'm going to, with my left hand, just steady that right arm and bend the elbow. Is going straight up for the ceiling, but I'm bending my hand down towards my shoulder. My head is not getting pushed, it's standing straight. I'm going to take my left arm and reach up and grab the strap. I can do it down here, really extending the distance between my two elbows. Or I can come up a little bit farther. Some of you, your hands might meet and you can clasp them together. The important thing on this is to keep that right elbow really pointing up towards the sky, stretching out that tricep, the bottom part of our arm, upper arm. And then breathe. As you stand here, take notice. Is your tailbone headed down towards the floor? Are your shoulder blades together? Tummy muscles are engaged? And you're standing as tall as you can. And certainly breathing. All right, then I'm just going to take my arms or my hands and separate them on the strap and bring them down to my sides and roll my shoulders out a little bit. That feels great. I can feel everything moving around in my body. It's not stagnant. It's not static. It's not holding tension. Now we'll do the other side. I'm going to do this facing you this time. So I've got the strap in my hand. I'm going to raise my left arm. I'm going to use my right hand just to steady so that elbow doesn't bow out to the side. I'm going to get that elbow going up towards the ceiling as much as I can, and then I'm going to take my right hand back behind me and grab the strap and really get long and strong in my body. Spine is extended. Head is an extension of the spine. Shoulder blades are together on my back. And I can definitely feel that in my tricep. You may feel this tomorrow morning if you're not used to using those muscles a lot. And if it is straining too much, just pull your hands apart a little bit on the strap behind you. It should feel good, not painful. All right? So then I'm gonna just let my hands separate on the strap and roll my shoulders back and forth a little bit. You can go ahead and put your strap down. Have your block or blocks on the floor for our next little series. So first, come to your mountain pose. Always start with a stable, steady beginning. And we're going to lift our arms up, twist over into a forward fold. Hands are going to rest on the block. Then I'm going to bring my right hand, palm to sacrum, on my back. Then I'm going to twist my torso over a little bit and open up to the side. If that's too much to raise your arm, just keep it there at the sacrum. This is a nice stretch. Actually, I can twist a little more when I keep my hand on my back. Come on back over, and we're just going to do that same thing on the other side. Try not to let one knee go in front of the other. If they want to do that, bend your both knees so you can keep your hips square. Come on back to center. We're going to bend our knees deeply, take our butt back, and then sweep our arms forward for chair pose. I'm just going to turn to the side for you here. Then we're going to take our arms out to the side, bring our back parallel to the floor, and breathe here for 1 or 2 breaths. My spine should be a long line. And then I'm going to sweep my arms up, overhead, and hands back down to heart center. And we'll do that 2 more times. Arms up, over into a forward fold, hand to sacrum, twisting it open, back down, hand to sacrum, twisting it open. Remember, bend those knees if one wants to hike in front of the other. Back over, coming into our chair pose. Oh, my hair's getting long. It's driving me crazy. I bet yours is too. And then we're going to come over and spread our arms wide. Back down and up and hands back down to heart center. And one last time there. Arms up. Over into our forward fold, twisting, open, hands back down to the block, bend the knees, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. Hold it long enough so you feel a little bit of effort in those thigh muscles. Coming back up to standing. Hands to heart center, and one last time. Arms up, over, twist, twist, over, chair pose, wide arms, flat back, up, and hands back to heart center. Okay, now, I know you've been wondering what that chair was here for. We're going to do a wall dog. So it's the same kind of action in the shoulders as when we do a down dog, but we can do it with the support of the chair and not be putting so much weight on our shoulders. So you could do this to a table, a chair, a kitchen counter. I'm going to stand about arm's length away from the back of my chair. I'm going to bend my knees deeply. I'm going to place in this hand, I'm going to place my palms on the top of the chair. If we were actually at a wall, which you can do, you would put your hands up so that your palms are on the wall and you can really press them in there. But I don't have a lot of open wall space for my camera. So I'm just going to bend my knees. I'm going to stretch my arms out. And then I'm going to bring my shoulder blades together. I might need to step back a little bit more. I'm going to see if I can straighten my legs and keep my tailbone moving away from the chair. Hands are reaching forward. Shoulders are up along my ears. I take that back. My ears are between my upper arms. My shoulders are actually reaching back away from my ears, if that makes sense. Shoulder blades are together. And I'm really engaged and see how far I can stretch those legs and keep all of that action going. Let it go. And we'll go into that position again. By holding a little bit of tension as we're in the pose and then learning to release it when we come out of the pose, it trains our body to do that when we find ourselves in a stressful situation so that we don't cling to it, we don't hold it in our body. All right, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to bring my chair a little bit closer so you can see better, are some hip openers. Have your strap ready or your ties, whatever you're using. If you want to make a little hoop at the end, that might help you get your foot into the strap so it's a little bit steadier. That's just personal preference. So we're going to stand with one hand on the chair. Our body is in our nice, straight, good posture position, mountain pose. And we're just going to balance on one foot and lift the other knee up. So then my thigh becomes parallel to the floor. I'm going to point my foot and I'm just going to bounce my hip out. I don't want to go farther to the side than I can without letting my hip jut out. So if this is where you can go and then your hip wants to go out to compensate, just go here, back and forth. If you can go a little wider, that's fine. Just opening up that hip. Nice. Then we're going to take our strap and you can either just loop it around your foot. Woo, good thing that chair's there, like this. Or I do prefer a loop. Okay, I'm going to use my chair for balance. I'm going to bring my knee up and then I'm going to extend my leg straight. Keeping my hips square. And then if I want to open to the side a little bit, I can. Be sure the hips stay squared off and one is not jutting out. And bring your foot back in and back down. And then we can do one more of those standing hip rotations. There we go. Just kind of compensating for some of that sitting that we're doing. I'll take it off that hand. And then I would turn around normally if I was doing this practice on my own, but I want to stay facing you. So I'm just going to lift the other arm or other leg up. Thigh parallel to the floor and bounce it back and forth a little bit. Out to the side. Nice. Then we're going to hook the strap around our foot. Normally you would do it same hand to foot, but that's hard with my hand on this chair here to keep facing you. So I'm going to extend my leg and then take it out to the side if I can. Now, if you are an experienced yogi and instead of using the strap, you just want to hook your hand to foot, that's fine, but I'm really encouraging you to just take a nice, gentle practice here that's not creating any tension. We're working on letting it go. Nice there. So let's do a few standing poses. We'll go with our traditional tree. You have your chair there if you need it to be steady. So for tree pose, we are going to stand and steady. Ground ourselves, let your roots go down. And then we're going to pick up one foot. I've got my right foot up, my toes are just resting on the floor. This is plenty. One-footed balance. If you can go ahead and bring your foot to your thigh, not to your knee. We always want it above or below the knee. If you'd like, especially with you having the chair right there, you could bring your foot up into the groin area. I prefer right here. Otherwise my hip juts out and that's not really ideal. So I'm going to stay in my tree pose, balancing through a few breaths. The trees look beautiful at this time of year, don't they? I think it's our salvation. Nature, with the flowers coming out and the trees blooming out, it's helping our spirits. All right, then bring your knee forward, plant your foot down on the ground, and we'll do the other side. Get your roots, get grounded. Bring your toe to the position that you prefer, and find your balance. If that's not an issue, maybe you can extend your hands out a little bit, take them to the side, maybe up and down. Maybe even try closing your eyes for a moment and see if you can keep your balance. It makes it much harder, trust me. All right, and bringing your knee forward and setting it down. Go ahead and get your strap. We're going to do a couple standing poses, and we're going to use the straps for them, just to help us focus on keeping our arms outstretched to the sides and working the shoulders a little bit. So I'm going to stand with my right toes pointed away from my hip. My left toes are turned in and my heel is straight out from my hip. I'm going to bend the front knee, making sure that my knee does not go in front of my ankle. And then I'm going to take my strap and I'm going to put it behind my hips and stretch it out wide so that it's fully extended between my hands. And I'm going to do my warrior like this so that I'm more aware of this back arm really being up and in line with the front arm. I feel that more, a little bit more engagement. Maybe I can take that knee a little bit farther. Breathing. Doing great, everybody. I like to see you standing up for yourself. Okay, and let that strap fall down to my hips. Now I'm taking it at shoulder distance apart, hip distance apart, and I'm gonna lean forward, let my right shoulder rest on my right knee, and I'm gonna take my hands and the strap back, bringing my shoulder blades together, and then if I can lift it up, keeping my shoulders away from my ears. We don't want them hunching up. Humble warrior. And then we're going to come up and we're going to, as gracefully as possible, bring our back foot forward and reposition ourselves for pyramid pose. The farther away your feet are from each other, the harder this pose will be. So if you want to step them up, remember, we're not pushing to the max here. We're just getting a little movement going. I'm going to hinge at the hips, keeping my spine extended long. And then I'm going to do that same movement, raising my arms up. This is fine. You can keep them back down here. Shoulders are up, opening up. And then if you can lean forward a little bit and take that strap up. Keep that tummy engaged. Coming back up to standing, and then we'll do the other side. Just a little secret to let you know, when a yoga teacher says, keep your tummy engaged, take the tailbone down towards the floor, it's because they realize they've let it go. So we're all practicing together. My left toes are going to turn away from my hip. Right toes are turned in a little bit behind me. Bend that front knee. Take the strap wide again. And really feel the tension because your arms, your hands are reaching away from each other in our Warrior Two pose. Looking out over the front hand. Breathing, going a little bit deeper if that's good. Let the strap fall. Grab it, hip distance. Lean over that front thigh. Left shoulder to left knee. And then see how it goes with lifting it forward. Shoulders back. Shoulder blades together. One more breath here. And lifting back up. We're going to bring that back foot forward. Position your feet. And then hinge like a scissors, the scissors blades forward from the hip. Okay? Extend. Tip of the tailbone, crown of the head, as long as you can get. Then bring the arms up and maybe lean forward again. You're going to feel that in the back of that left hamstring. One more breath. Come on up to standing. And we're going to do some thigh stretches. So first thing I'm going to do is bring my chair a little closer. And this is a real simple one. If you find your thighs are really tight, just to get started, we can go in increments as far as working those muscles to where they can lengthen a little bit more each time. So one thing you can do is just stand with your backside to the seat of the chair and put your foot up on the chair, sole of the foot facing the ceiling, and then work on bringing your knee down towards the floor. It's a real nice, gentle thigh stretch. Notice my tailbone is going down, belly is engaged. I'm not arching my back. Ooh, that hurt my foot. All right. And we can do that on the other side. Knees are together. That lifted foot, the knee is going down towards the floor. Nice and gentle. Use the chair for balance. If you want to test your balance, of course, you could always move your arms as if you were in tree pose, but it's not necessary. We're just getting up to move, letting go of a little tension. No need to go to excess. All right, now I'm going to turn my chair back the other way, and we're going to use our strap. Now, you might be very familiar with this thigh stretch with just your hand, but by using the strap, we can adjust it a little bit and eventually take it a little bit farther. So I'm going to wrap the strap around my ankle. Sorry, not one to go there. Okay. I'm going to bring the strap over my shoulders so I have a little more control of it. And I'm just going to make sure that my body is straight, tailbone towards the floor, not jutting my hips forward. And I'm going to take my foot up and out. And then maybe I can lean forward and press that foot away from me. Hips are square. Watch your balance. There you go. Maybe you can bring it a little bit tighter, knee going down towards the floor. If you're right here and that's plenty for your knee, that's great. And then maybe one more time, forward, taking that knee back, little modified dancer's pose. There you go. And then we'll do the other side. Getting the strap adjusted takes longer than actually being in the pose, but that's okay. Sometimes the props help us get a little different position. All right. So I'm flexing my foot now, and I'm going to lean forward, taking that foot back and up, coming back. Maybe I can grab that foot, grab the toes, and point the foot. Whatever feels good here. If you're familiar with dancer pose, you can go all out. But remember, we're just doing a little short practice. Here we go. I'm going to set my chair off to the side. And then I'm going to do just a couple of toe stretches and ankle stretches. So I'm going to turn my toes under and then roll it back, under, roll it back, just a little bit of movement, and then take my foot a little wide and circle the ankle. Both directions. Anything that would feel good, you can lift that foot and circle the ankle. Same thing on the other side. Circle. Maybe lift, a little bit of balance here in either direction. And then we're going to go back to where we started with that washing machine pose and just see if you are just a little more free flowing. Everything moving just a little bit easier. Coming back to our mountain pose, standing still, closing your eyes if that's possible for you, and really expanding, stretching, making space in those joints on the inhale, letting go of any remaining tension on the exhale. Let's breathe in and out 3 full, deep, long breaths. Good practice, friends. Namaste.